welcome to our report on knowledge management. So, I'll be sharing with you some concepts and basic introduction about knowledge management. So, basically, this is knowledge management 101. So, some of these are my experiences on my previous work, and some of the presentations are actually taken from the presentations I have attended way back in 2017, 16. Okay. So knowledge management. Let's take a look of the learning flow. What are the things that we should know about KM? So basically, in my presentation, I'll be sharing about knowledge management history and basic concepts, the importance of knowledge management, and some models that has been used by organizations and institutions. Okay, so let's start with the timeline of knowledge management. So way back in 3500 BC, the cuneiform language is invented, allowing information to be shared, stored, and preserved for future generations. So meron na yan. We already uh, learned this in our library in information science introduction or foundation. So that's one of the way of documenting through the cuneiform language. And then in 200 BC, parchment becomes available. Okay? And in 1450s, okay, Johannes Gutenberg brings functional movable type to Europe in the form of the printing press. So nag-start na actually ang printing press in 1450. In 1854, George Poole pens an investigation of the laws of thought, okay, which introduced binary variables and later become the foundation for computer design. Remember the binary 1, 0. Okay, nag-start na dun yung computer design. In 1858, the development of the transatlantic telegraph makes instantaneous long-distance communication possible. So meron ng line of communication during these years. Okay. Century. In 1950s, okay, dito na, computers built to store programs, ayan, leave research labs and start making their debut into modern life. Okay, dito nag-start ang ating mga modern life. In 1959, management consultant Peter Drucker. So Peter Drucker was known for management. Okay, coined the term knowledge management. So it's actually Peter Drucker who coined the term knowledge management in an article in the Harvard Business Review. So upon the notion that managers should not only share knowledge, but also track the innovation that occurs as a result. Okay. So originally, knowledge management is anchored on storing knowledge, okay, databases. So in 1970s, ARPANET makes great strides in the realm of networking technologies and lays the groundwork for what will compose the global internet. So dito na nagsimula ang ating internet. So that's in 1989, Tim Berners-Lee first proposes and eventually develops the framework for the World Wide Web. So remember this. So in 1990s, dito na officially nag-start ang KM. Okay, so it was Carl Wig writes a 3-volume publication on the subject of modern knowledge management and further spurs interest in the idea. So dito na nag-start yung pag-spread ng idea ng KM. Yeah. Scandia hires Leif Edvigsson as the world's first chief knowledge officer. So siya ang ating first chief knowledge officer. New fundamentally changing technologies enters the scene. So some notable tools like knowledge databases, portals, document management, and groupware solutions dito rin nagsimula, 1990. Consulting firms start investing in KM systems and its implementation in the workplace. Okay. Software, yan, vendors scramble to develop KM solutions. So that is, as its presence in the corporate world blossoms into something big. So dyan na pumasok yung ating mga Microsoft and IBM, which reposition their software to emphasize knowledge management qualities. If you notice, KM is more or was first applicable or was first initiated from private private companies. So like Microsoft and IBM. In 2005, okay, dito na. Actually, this time meron ng Friendster dito eh. I remember that is 2006, 7. May ano na din. 2007 kami first year. So medyo na-addict din kami sa Friendster noon. Social networking analysis, the process of mapping a group's contacts to identify members and their connections becomes a key technique in modern KM. Consumer social software enables sites like Facebook, MySpace, and YouTube to enter into society and the enterprise world, creating Enterprise 2.0. So dito, hindi na lang siya document through internet na rin siya. Okay? You can view and you can watch, okay, through the internet. So modern na siya. Facebook is actually running 11 years from now. Since into the present, okay, parang nag-start kasi siya noong 2008 or 9, 2009, yes. So nawala na rin si Friendster unti-unti. Several case studies conducted on KM show the importance of the individuals and their culture as the most critical resources for successful knowledge creation, dissemination, and application. Okay. In 2010 and beyond, implementing solutions to collect and preserve tacit knowledge has become a high priority. Bakit? Dito na kasi dumating yung panahon na may mga empleyado nang nagre-retire, okay? Marami nang umalis. And the priority is, how can we document the practices? Okay? How can we document the ideas of these employees? Okay? Aalis na sila, kaya may mga knowledge sila na very important in the organization to sustain the productivity of the company. Kaya nga private ang nauna dyan. And then the evolution of the practice will see the convergence of KM and the social web, creating a new, modern, and always evolving repository of data. Up to present, nag-evolve naman yung ating mga applications and modern facilities as far as internet-based databases and portals is concerned. Okay. Now, who coined the term knowledge management? So, both Carl Eric Sebi or Webby, how does this pronounce? And Carl Wig used the term knowledge management in 1986. Okay, so Carl, described as the one of the founding fathers of KM, pioneered many fundamental concepts. So siya yung nag-expand actually through his first book, Knowledge Companies in Sweden. Carl Wig, also described as the founding father, so isa rin siyang founding father, and used KM in a 1986 article that one presented in Harvard Business Review. Okay. In the Philippines, okay, I was lucky to attend one of his training when I was in DSWD, at the DSWD Central Office. Dr. Serafin Talisayan was actually the father of knowledge management in the Philippines. He is the co-founder and one of the director of the CCLFI, Community and Corporate Learning for Innovation. You can actually check on that. Okay. He graduated from UP Diliman, and he's actually one of the professors teaching and handling KM, Diploma in Knowledge Management in UP Diliman. You can actually enroll if you want to dwell more on knowledge management, especially if you are applying KM in your organization. It can actually help. He actually shared his ebook on the 99 paradigm shift. I can share it with you. So most of the content is actually the 99 paradigm shift in the modern world. Okay, so KM na KM yun. I'll be sharing with you after my presentation.